Привет, друзья, and welcome to my channel Russian Easy Learning. This is a channel for those who love Russian language, Russian culture, for those who want to learn and speak Russian. And today we will discuss one of the most difficult topics in Russian, verbs of motion. If these verbs seem difficult to you, and if you still don't know difference between идти, ходить, ехать, ездить, please keep watching this video. Okay, let's get started. And at first, let's have a look at these verbs. Verbs of motion. Идти, ходить, пойти. These verbs we use when we talk about motion on foot. And verbs ехать, ездить, поехать. We use these verbs when we talk about motion on transport. Идти, ходить, пойти. Ехать, ездить, поехать. And now let's talk about these verbs. At first, about verbs идти, ходить, and пойти. So here you can see these verbs. And today we will talk about how to say about emotion on foot in the present, in the past, and in the future. Please have a look. We talk about motion on foot. When we talk about motion on foot, we use verbs идти, ходить, пойти. Let's talk about these verbs and let's learn these verbs step by step. If you would like to say about your motion in the present, you have to use the verb идти in the present form. Я иду, ты идешь, он, она идет. Мы идем, вы идете, они идут. For example, if you see this word сейчас, now, сейчас, we talk about our motion in this moment, and we should use the verb идти in the present. In this situation, we talk about motion only in one direction. Please pay attention that all verbs of motion we have to use with the accusative case. And for example, if you would like to tell about your motion only in one direction, in present tense, right now, you have to use this verb идти. Сейчас я иду в парк. Now I'm going to the park. Or сейчас я иду в университет. Now I'm going to the university. So we can say about our motion on foot only in one direction in the present tense using this verb идти. Next verb ходить. We use this verb when we talk about our motion in the past. It was, but now in this moment you are not at in that place. You are at home, for example. So in this situation, when you would like to tell about your motion in the past, you should use this verb ходить. So here you can see this verb in the past form. Я, ты, он ходил. Я, ты, она ходила. Мы, вы, они ходили. If you see these words вчера or раньше, вчера means yesterday, раньше before. If you see these words, it means that you talk about the past. Let's make an example. Вчера я Аида, so that's why I have to use the female form of this verb. Вчера я ходила в парк. Or вчера я ходила в университет. Okay, if you would like to tell about your motion in the past, you have to use this verb ходить in the past form. And what about future? If you would like to say about the future, you have to use the verb пойти. Пойти means will go. Let's have a look at forms of this verb. Я пойду. Ты пойдешь. Он, она пойдет. Мы пойдем. Вы пойдете. Они пойдут. So if you see such words as завтра or скоро, завтра means tomorrow, скоро soon, so you have to use, and you would like to tell about your motion in the future, you have to use this verb пойти. For example, завтра я пойду. Tomorrow I will go. Завтра я пойду в парк. Tomorrow I will go to the park. Tomorrow I will go to the university. Завтра я пойду в университет. Okay, let's repeat this information. If you would like to tell about the present, about some motion in this moment, now I'm going to the university. Сейчас я иду в университет. If you would like to tell about your motion in the past, and now you are not at that place, you are at home, for example, you can and you should use this verb ходить. For example, вчера я ходила в университет. Yesterday I went to the university. Or yesterday I went to the park. Вчера я ходила в парк. And if you would like to tell about your motion in the future, you have to use this verb пойти. Завтра, tomorrow, завтра я пойду в университет. Tomorrow I will go to the university. Tomorrow I will go to the park. Завтра я пойду в парк. Please pay attention that these verbs идти, ходить, пойти we use when we talk about motion on foot. On foot. And after verbs of motion in Russian language, we have to use the accusative case. And if we talk about accusative case, we talk about direction. We have to change only female nouns. Neuter nouns, male nouns, no changes, because when we talk about the accusative case, we inanimate, we have to change only female. So that's why after these verbs we use the accusative case and we have to change only female nouns. Okay, and now let's have a look one more meaning of the verb ходить, and or one more option when we can use this verb ходить. And you know that we can use this verb when we talk about the past tense, but also we can use this verb in the present. Why and when we use this verb? Let's have a look. This verb ходить, and we have forms of this verb in the present tense. Я хожу, ты ходишь, он, она ходит, мы ходим, вы ходите, они ходят. When we use this verb, we use this verb if we talk about repeated action on foot. If we talk about repeated action on foot, and we also use the verb ходить, but in the present tense. In the past tense we use when we talk about past, and in the present tense we use this verb in the present tense when we talk about repeated action. So if you see such words as часто, often, всегда, always, иногда, sometimes, редко, seldom or rarely, никогда, never, каждый день, every day. As you can see, all these words we use when we talk about repeated action. So if you see these words or if you talk about repeated action, you have to use this verb ходить in the present tense. For example, я часто хожу в парк. I often go to the park. In this situation, we talk about frequency, so that's why we use this verb in the present. Я иногда хожу в магазин. Sometimes I go to the grocery store. Каждый день я хожу в университет. I go to the university every day. As you can see, when we talk about frequency, we have to use this verb ходить in the present tense. Please memorize that after this verb and after all verbs of motion in Russian, we have to use the accusative case, case number 4. Okay, let's practice and let's have a look at this exercise. So here you can see these verbs: идти, ходить, пойти. And we talk about motion on foot, as you can see. So here you can see this picture, motion on foot. And here you see some examples, some sentences, and you have to put the correct verb here. Okay, let's do it. And the first sentence: сейчас я в парк. So в парк, it's the accusative case, case number 4. After verbs of motion, we have to use the accusative case with preposition. Here we have this word сейчас, right now, in this moment. It's a present tense, so that's why we have to use the verb идти. We have this personal pronoun я. Я иду. Я иду в парк. Я сейчас иду в парк. We talk about present tense, so that's why we have to use this verb идти. We talk about motion only in one direction, and we have this word сейчас, we have this personal pronoun я иду. After verb of motion, we have to use the accusative case. Okay, next sentence. Let's read. Вчера я в магазин. So also the accusative case. And here we have this word вчера. If we talk about motion in the past, motion on foot, we have to use the verb ходить. Вчера я. Here you can use forms ходил or ходила. If it man says, we have to use ходил. But я Аида, so that's why I will write ходила. Вчера я ходила в магазин. After verbs of motion in Russian, we have to use the accusative case. We have to change only female nouns. And also, please don't forget about the preposition. Вчера я ходила в магазин. Also, you can say вчера я ходил в магазин. If it man says, we use the form ходил. Okay, next sentence. Завтра. So here you can see this word завтра. Завтра, it's about future. Завтра я. We have to use this verb. Пойти. Завтра я. Правильно. Пойду. Завтра я пойду. Завтра, it's about future. Tomorrow, I will go. If you would like to tell about your motion in the future, you have to use this verb пойти. Я пойду. Я пойду в университет. It's also case number 4. And the last sentence, я часто means often. Я часто в музей. Which verb should we put here? Ходить. Правильно, it's a verb ходить. Ходить, we use this verb when we talk about past. Вчера я ходил or вчера я ходила в магазин. And also, if we would like to tell about the frequency, we have to use this verb in the present tense. Я часто хожу в музей. Я часто хожу в музей. So, you can see this word often. It means that we talk about frequency. We talk about the motion on foot, and we have to use the verb ходить in the present tense. Я часто хожу в музей. Отлично. Well done. Please have a look at these verbs one more time. And now let's read some examples with these verbs. So here you can see examples. Let's read them. Куда ты идешь сейчас? Куда ты идешь сейчас? Куда? Сейчас я иду на работу. Куда? На работу. Accusative case. In this sentence we have this word сейчас. Means that we talk about the present. That's why we use the verb идти. Куда ты идешь сейчас? Сейчас я иду на работу. Куда ты ходил вчера? It's a question about men. As you can see, we have letter L here. Куда ты ходил вчера? For example, Антон or John. Куда ты ходил вчера? It's a question about past. We use this verb ходил. And also we have this word вчера in this sentence. Куда ты ходил вчера? Вчера я ходил в магазин. Куда? В магазин. Куда means where to. Next sentence. Куда ты пойдешь завтра? Завтра я пойду в театр. It's a question about future because we have завтра. We have to use the verb пойти. Ты пойдешь. Куда ты пойдешь? Завтра. Завтра я пойду в театр. Куда Анна идет сейчас? Сейчас Анна идет в поликлинику. We have this word. Сейчас. Куда Анна идет? Анна – это она. So that's why we use this verb идет in the form of the third person. Куда Анна идет сейчас? Сейчас Анна идет в поликлинику. Куда? Where to? В поликлинику. Next example. Куда вы ходили вчера? Вчера мы ходили в парк. Вчера. It's about past. We have to use this verb ходить in the past form. Куда вы ходили вчера? Вчера мы ходили в парк. Куда пойдут мои друзья в субботу? Мои друзья – это они. So that's why we have to use the verb пойти in the plural form. Они. Куда они пойдут в субботу? It's a question about future. So that's why we have to use the verb пойдут. And answer. В субботу мои друзья пойдут в музей. And the last question and answer. Куда вы часто ходите? Мы часто ходим в университет. Куда? Where to? В университет. So if you see this question, you have to use the accusative case here. And here you see this word часто. Часто means often. We talk about frequency, so that's why we have to use the verb ходить in the present tense. Вы ходите. Куда вы часто ходите? Мы часто ходим в университет. Okay. It was the information about verbs of motion. Идти, ходить, пойти. And now let's talk about verbs of motion. Ехать, ездить, поехать. Okay. And here you see the verbs ехать, ездить, поехать. How to say about emotion by transport in the present, in the past, and in the future. Okay, if you would like to say about emotion by transport in the present, you have to use the verb ехать in the present tense. Ехать. Я еду, ты едешь, он, она едет, мы едем, вы едете, они едут. We talk about motion by transport. And here we have this word сейчас. Let's say сейчас я еду в университет. You know, сейчас я иду, it means motion on foot. Сейчас я иду в университет. And now let's learn сейчас я еду в университет. Я еду we use when we talk about some kind of transport. Сейчас я еду в университет. Or сейчас я еду в магазин. Сейчас я еду в парк. And something else. We talk about our motion by transport in the present time in this moment. Okay, if you would like to tell about your motion in the past, it was. Now you are not in that place. Now you are at home, for example. And in this situation, you have to use the verb ездить, ездить in the past form. Я, ты, он ездил. Я, ты, она ездила. Мы, вы, они ездили. The same situation if you see these words вчера or раньше and you would like to tell about your motion in the past, you have to use this verb ездить. It's a motion by transport. Please don't mix because we have verbs which we use when we talk about motion on foot, and these verbs ехать, ездить, поехать we use when we talk about motion by transport. So if you would like to tell about your motion in the past, it was, but now you are not in that place, you are at home, you have to use this verb. For example, я Аида, I'm female, female, so that's why we have to use the female form of this verb. Вчера я ездила в парк. I went to the park yesterday by transport. Вчера я ездила в магазин. Вчера я ездила в университет. I talk about transport, about my motion by transport, not on foot. Don't mix verbs. So, and the last verb, поехать. Поехать we use when we talk about motion in the future. And we have to put this verb, we have to form these personal forms of this verb. Я поеду, ты поедешь, он, она поедет, мы поедем, вы поедете, они поедут. Motion on transport in the future. And also here you can see these words such завтра, скоро. If you see these words, it means that you have to use the future, and you have to use this verb поехать if you would like to tell about your motion in the future. Motion by transport. And let's have some examples. Завтра я поеду в университет. Завтра я поеду в парк. Tomorrow I will go to the park. Tomorrow I will go to the university. By transport, by car, by bus, by train, something else. We use this verb поехать, ездить, ехать when we talk about motion by transport. And please pay attention that these verbs and verbs идти, ходить, пойти, we have to use with the accusative case, with the prepositions в or на. And one more information about verb ездить. As you can see, we can use this verb when we talk about our motion in the past, and also we can use this verb in the present tense if we talk about repeated action, repeated motion by transport, and we also can use the verb ездить in the present tense. We talk about frequency and we talk about motion but by transport. We use this verb ездить in the present tense. Я езжу, ты ездишь, он, она ездит, мы ездим, вы ездите, они ездят. We talk about frequency, so you can see such words as часто, всегда, иногда, редко, никогда, каждый день. Let's repeat what does it mean. Часто, often, всегда, always, иногда, sometimes, редко, seldom, никогда, never, каждый день, every day. So we use this verb when we talk about frequency, when we talk about repeated action. Let's make an example. I go to the university every day. Каждый день я езжу в университет. Let's say, every day I go to the university by car. Let's say this way. Каждый день я езжу в университет на машине. Or я часто езжу в магазин на автобусе. I often go to the grocery store by bus. Please don't mix verbs. These verbs ехать, ездить, поехать we use when we talk about motion by transport. After verbs of motion in Russian language, we use case number 4, and it's the accusative case. Okay, let's have a look here and let's make some exercises. Here you can see verbs ехать, ездить, поехать. Ехать, ездить, поехать. These are verbs of motion, and we use these verbs when we talk about some motion by transport, as you can see in this picture. So let's fill in these blanks. Сейчас я в офис. We talk about our motion by transport. Which verb we have to put here сейчас. We have this word сейчас. Сейчас. Сейчас это настоящее время. It's a present. Сейчас я, and we have to use this verb. Сейчас я еду в офис. Я еду в офис. After verbs of motion, we have to use the accusative case. Next sentence. Вчера я, and we have to use this verb in the past form because we talk about past. Вчера я ездил or ездила. В библиотеку. So as you can see, here we have to change the ending because библиотека, it's a female noun. Female nouns in the accusative case have ending u or u. Вчера я ездила в библиотеку. After verbs of motion, we have to use the accusative case. So next sentence. Завтра. Завтра, it's about future, tomorrow. In this situation, we have to use the verb поехать. Завтра я поеду в школу. Завтра я поеду в школу. After verbs of motion, we have to use the accusative case. And the last sentence, я часто. Часто means often. If we talk about the frequency, we have to use the verb ездить, but in the present tense. Я часто езжу в парк. As you know, after verbs of motion, we have to put the accusative case. As you can see, male, male, no changes. Female, школа, school. Библиотека, library. If we talk about female nouns, we have to change ending in the accusative case. Okay, and now let's read some examples with these verbs. So, here you can see some examples. Let's read them. Куда ты едешь сейчас? The question is about transport. Куда ты едешь? Where do you go? Сейчас я еду. Сейчас я еду на работу. Куда ты ездил вчера? It's a question about past. Вчера я ездил в магазин. Куда ты поедешь завтра? Завтра я поеду в театр. It's a question about future. Куда ты обычно ездишь на каникулы? Обычно на каникулы я езжу в Москву. So here you can see обычно means usually. Usually it's about frequency. And if we talk about frequency, we have to use the verb ездить in the present tense. Куда ты обычно ездишь на каникулы? Обычно на каникулы, on weekend or vacations better, я езжу в Москву. Thank you for your attention. I hope that this lesson was useful for you. If you'd like to see more lessons from Russian Easy Learning, please let me know in the comments. And пока-пока!